Hello, everyone. Welcome back to yet another political episode. So we are back again today with some news in regards to Namibia. Now, the country's vice president, Latumo Yandai Nitawtwa, we're just going to call her Natumbo. I'm still trying to get over this cold, so bear with me. Yes, she has obviously won the election. I'm not surprised by these results. Namibia, through its entire existence, is ruled by one political party. That itself is SWAPO. And it's owned by the icon. SWAPO is a very, very far-left political party. For a time, it was a Marxist-Leninist political party. And now, even though it's not that way anymore, it is leaning center-left to center to left wing, but it is a part of the Socialist International, a group of international political parties, which are all around the world. The United States does not have any socialist political parties, but you're basically close to saying that the Democratic Party is extremely close to becoming a socialist party. You can already make that claim. Already, and Puerto Rico even has a socialist party. But yes, so you'll see the dark red countries in dark red obviously have they're more solidified. The party has basic grounds in these countries. Kenya, surprisingly, has a lot of right-wing parties, but they're also a part of the Socialist International. Keep in mind, the group is more center-left, but I'll tell you, there are a lot of center-right socialist parties, like the one in Botswana is center-right. It's a little weird and hard to understand, but just because you're socialist does not mean in this time of age that you're right-wing. Political parties are free to behave whatever they want to behave. So obviously, Natumbo is the winner of the said election, 57.68% of the popular vote. Natumbo would be one of the Namibia's presidents, which we'll go over, all of which are a part of the left-wing, socialist-like SWAPO. The first president, Sam Nujoma, who was elected in 1989, same percentage number with some conservative parties. The country of Namibia is not like its neighbors to the north, Angola, where the party, SWAPO, took it over militarily. Majority of the country volunteered to register as SWAPO, which was the main fighting force for Namibia's independence against South Africa. And if we are unaware, you know that South Africa is a part of what we call the apartheid regime. We realize that, this is a very right-wing, racist sort of government, and Namibia, with the formation of SWAPO, was mobilized not against Namibia, but against South Africa. It was also known formally as PLAN, People's Liberation Army of Namibia. It was aided by the MPLA, as we talked about in Angola a couple days ago. Also aided by the Cubans, and unsurprisingly, SWAPO, which is an alliance in, I want to believe, it's a Namibian political party. It is also left-wing. NC, the African National Congress, and Namibia was a left-wing country during that time also, and still remains to be the same. So obviously, interesting said conflict. Obviously, the military stalemate of that conflict resulted to SWAPO taking control of Namibia breaking away from South Africa. But even until then, this conflict, it does depend. When did the South African Union end? Okay. Republic of South Africa. We want apartheid South Africa. Okay, I'm getting into a history lesson. Okay, I guess it ended in 1994. That would make more sense. So 4 more years of apartheid existence in South Africa until, of course, the country collapsed and African Americans take over the country, just like in Namibia. So looking at, of course, Namibia, it's sort of kind of like how MPLA took over Angola in its civil war, but not totally. I'm on a totally different page, but there we go. But even after, where the said party So Namibia very different from Angola. Namibia began to form relations with the United States. Angola began to hate on the United States when it won its independence in the said 70s. But Namibia decides to negotiate with the United States because the United States did condemn South Africa's apartheid. South Namibia also decided, unlike Angola, to let right-wing political parties exist. So they are already taking the democratic approach because they want to get in favors with the West and with Europe. And to this day, it's a very reliably Western country of the world. But it still is kind of socialist. The one socialist country the West kind of gets along with. Angola, on the other hand, totally banned all right-wing political parties, but right-wing political parties found their way in Angola anyway. The biggest would be UNITA, which they would fight conflicts even to the present day with the ruling class MPLA, and usually their elections are rigged. For some reason, Angola gets 80-90% of the vote in the MPLA. But it seems like as if these elections are fair. You can't always trust democratic countries to be fair in their elections. Like, take a look at our election system. There's definitely some fraudulent modes there, both accused by the left and the right in the United States. But Namibia, I'm sure they get a lot of course, backlash when it comes to, in this case, Namibia. You'll see in the former results, Namibia, the Namibian president, independent, the oppositionist, we will call him, he took over 2 constituencies, 2, of course, regions. As yes, and here's South Namibia and its constituencies. But I guess the actual map will be posted soon. This race was just called today, I want to believe. This race here. Congratulations to Netumbo. We don't want you to win, obviously, because Namibia is not so different than South Africa. They kind of suppress the Boer population, which does still linger around. Not as popular as in South Africa. But if you are unaware of the situation in South Africa, a lot of Boers, they're getting their houses burned down. Boer farmers are getting murdered because they are Boer. And that's just shocking, and it's just upsetting. The United States government is not condemning South Africa. South Africa goes and sanctions Israel. It goes off on Israel for genocide. And here, South Africa, they support genocide towards a minority group. Sure, yes, the Boer population is what led the apartheid against the majority, 80% African-American groups, but that doesn't mean turning it around back at the Boers is right. It absolutely is racism, especially the justification of this. The Boer will always be a minority group. They're saying, white people, they can't be discriminated against because they are the majority of the population. Well, I have news for you. In South Africa, you're basically saying the discrimination and the violence directed towards Africans or Afrikaners in South Africa wasn't racism, because there are more African Americans. There's a higher percentage number of Africans in South Africa. You can't call them African Americans because they're not Americans, but Africans in South Africa than there are whites in the United States. But for some reason, it's racism. And I'm not arguing against it, but the same logic used in South Africa should be used here. Violence against whites is racism. Prejudice against whites is racism. Specifically talking about The View calling white women cockroaches, that's racist. Sonny Holston directly made that comment. That's racist. Calling them cockroaches. I know those comments were made towards African Americans. I know history. But that doesn't mean you get to fire that back at people. That's hate. And these liberal people, they say love over hate. Then that must apply towards your attitudes towards white folks. So obviously, Namibia, if you guys are interested, there are, of course, results. SWAPO did lose communities, and that's just the thing. The Angolan MPLA has a firm grip on every region. And we can even pull that up. A firm grip on every region. Except for I'm not surprised. Cabinda, because that region's trying to bust out. They don't like the MPLA. They want their independence. They've already declared themselves an independent republic. That's no one's recognizing it. There's a war being fought there. Barely any attention. So I'm not surprised. But for some reason, Cabinda gets representation in the government because in Angola's mind, they can hate it, they can like it or hate it. They're still a part of. Oh yeah, this is 2022. Never mind. But yes, like it or hate it, you're still a part of the country. Period. Kick and scream, whine and cry. So hey, I think Cabindans. I understand. You guys really, really do not like the MPLA government. I mean, UNITA gets some seats, but you'll see. Yeah, UNITA is losing its grip here. I mean, MPLA is losing its grip in the recent elections. But I thought we did a video. Or was that Mozambique? I don't think we did a... Interesting. Okay, apparently we did not do one. Interesting. Which is fine. Oh yeah, that was Mozambique. Pardon me. That was Mozambique. The Mozambique, though, same deal. Mozambique has a firm grip on all of its constituencies. Interesting. So anyway, what do you guys think in regards to Namibia? Let me know down below. And as always, I'll see you all in the next political episode.